Thanks for clicking on State of the City. My name's Todd Prafke. As you can see, I'm kind of sitting in a different position here than I normally am. I've got 4 or 5 minutes to talk about a bunch of things, but today I'm going to talk one thing. So I'm going to give you my normal, fantastic electronic digital graphics. Not really holding up a sheet of paper. So here you go. So this is an agenda from the workshop about a week ago. And so one of the things that I want to talk to is one of the agenda items on this. And so the most important agenda item on here, although they're all important, is the budget. And so if you have interest in seeing everything that the City Council does, everything that they get to see, everything that they review, all of the numbers, all of the math, all of the things, all of the planning that goes into the budget, I'd really encourage you to check out this workshop and you'll be able to see everything that they see. Now, let me talk about the process a little bit and how we do this internally. So generally in June-ish, the city staff starts assembling the new budget for the upcoming year. And so in this instance, that would be for the 2026 year. As a part of that, we're going through line by line. How many stamps are we buying? How many gallons of gas do we buy for trucks? What are we paying people? What does insurance cost? What utilities do we have to pay? All of those things are assembled, and that's provided to the City Council. And what you'll see in this packet is all that work. It's really over 100 pages, and so you get to see a bunch of different things. There's a column of what actually happened in 23, a column of what actually happened in 24, a column of the budget for 25 and what we've spent kind of so far in 2025, and then the projection or what we think the budget should be for 2026. So if you want to look through all those 100 pages, you can see everything. And then we have commentary underneath that explains, well, this one's a little bit higher this year because we're buying a snowblower, or this one's a little bit higher this year because we're replacing a copy machine that no longer works, or whatever it is. You can see all of those things. So as we do that, then as we get into the month of August, there are scheduled council meetings, typically starting at the end of August into September, where the council reviews all of this information and makes changes and tweaks it and establishes what their priorities are and really thinks about the most important part of this process, which is not the numbers of it, but really about the work plan and how do those numbers support the kind of work, the level of services that they want to provide to you and me within the community. And so that's how that works. So there will be 2 more meetings that discuss this. And so here are the general rules. The council will continue to tweak that, think about priorities, think about work plan, how do the numbers support those things. And then at the end of September, or before the end of September, they've got to establish a preliminary levy. That's really important because that levy is what they're asking people to pay for city taxes. And so once they set that, and by state law they have to set it by the end of September, so once they set that, then they cannot raise it. They can lower it, and they cannot raise it. But one really important thing, so over the last 25 years, generally what we set, or what they set at the end of September, is what follows through to the end of the year. We don't do this thing where we puff it up and then the city administrator comes back in November and says, oh, eureka, we can cut the budget by 40%, because that's dumb. We know really pretty well where we're going to be at here at the end of September. And so we want to make sure those projections are sound, reasonable, rational, so that we're not puffing things up and then miraculously cutting things later. That doesn't make sense for you as a taxpayer, and it doesn't make sense for the organization of the city in trying to think about how we're going to provide the services that you want to see, that the council wants to see. So then the next step in that after September is that some more work gets done, review gets done. We're making sure we're on target related to the budget for 2025. We're measuring how close we are, make sure that we're following the guidelines, and then in December, the City Council has a meeting, and you'll get a notice about this as a part of your tax statement. There'll be a meeting where you can come and talk about taxes. Certainly you can come and talk about it anytime you want, or call me or call council members. Happy to visit and provide whatever information you're looking for. But that's an opportunity for the community, if it wants, to provide input. And then at that meeting, they set the final levy, and then that's the taxes that you will pay on your business or your property in the 2026 year. If you have other questions about that, please feel free to give me a call. I'm happy to visit. I'd really encourage you to visit this meeting with that information, or upcoming meetings where that's on. And so you can catch that on our website, which is saintpetermn.gov. It's www.saintpetermn.gov. stpetermn.gov. And you can go to the meetings and minutes tab that's in there, and you can click on that and look for a meeting that talks about budget, and you'll get that 100+ pages of information will pop right up on your screen. Million things always to talk about, but thanks for being in St. Peter, and I'm going to keep this one relatively short, and thanks for clicking on State of the City.